What's going on, guys? Welcome to my sports corner. Today I put together a UFC 257 card. Early prelims, and main card. I put together it all. McMahon, Sean Shelby, I'm coming for your job. UFC, you need to hire me because I'm the best matchmaker. A couple things in my last video. I made the predictions for the fight night Ortega versus Zombie. Cyril Gahn pulled out, so I believe they put Kraus versus Claudio Silva or something. In that fight, I'm going to be picking Kraus. So my predictions for that card are, let's see, let me pull up the card here. So my predictions for the main card is going to be Jonathan Martinez, James Krause, Jimmy Crute, Andrade, and then the Korean Zombie. I also said that Modestas Bukauskas got elbowed, but it was actually him doing the elbowing in the last fight, so that was my mistake. Moving on to the main card moving on to the card that I put together for UFC 257. Of course, McGregor tweeted out that he accepts the Poirier fight January 23rd. It's on. He wants it to take place in the Cowboy Stadium. Hey, let's do it. Let's get this year. Let's get next year started off right. Let's forget about 2020, put it behind us, and let's keep it pushing. Starting off the early prelims, I have Randy Costa versus Ricardo Ramos. Randy Costa tweeted out that he wanted to be on this card. So I went ahead and put him on there. And then I matched him up against Ricardo Ramos. They both have Journey Newsom as a common opponent. Of course, Randy Costa had kicked him and knocked him out. Whenever they were matched up, and Ricardo Ramos took him to a decision, they both beat him. Ricardo Ramos is coming off of a TKO to Lerone Murphy back on July 16th of 2020. I think I gave him enough time to recover. We're going to go ahead and match him up against Randy Costa. This should be a cracker to get the card started off. A nice bantamweight scrap. Moving on up, we had the first of many featherweight fights. I went ahead and matched up Giga Chikadze, who's coming off the unanimous decision over Omar Morales last Saturday on the the Sanhagen versus the Marias card. He looked pretty good, Usually in the past, he has showed bad cardio, but he showed pretty decent cardio. He actually dropped Omar Morales in the third round, I believe. I went ahead and matched him up versus Alex Caceres, who was coming off of decision victories over Austin Springer and Chase Hooper. Look, man, you want to fight cans? We're gonna go ahead and match you up with the pretty decent fighter. You're not gonna be fighting cans anymore. He showed that he has the ability to beat cans. Let's see if you can be actually somewhat decent fighter. Of course, Chikadze has no ground game. His takedown defense isn't the greatest, but his stand up is pretty decent. So that is also on the early prelims. Moving on up, I matched up Damon Jackson, who was coming off the submission over Mirsad Bektic, the performance of the night winner. In the first round, he tapped out Mirsad Bektic. I matched him up against Michael Johnson. This is another featherweight scrapped. Of course, Michael Johnson is known for putting on good fights every time he comes out. I believe Michael Johnson's on a little bit of a skid. Yeah, he lost to Josh Emmett, Stevie Ray, and Thiago Moises. He got knocked out by Josh Emmett decision, lost to Stevie Ray, and then Achilles locked to Thiago Moises. So he's on a little bit of a loss streak, but we'll go ahead and match him up against Damon Jackson. See if he's still got a little bit left in the tank. Damon Jackson, I believe he's only had one fight in the UFC. However, like I said, it was the winning the performance of the night. Bonus winner over Mirsad Bektic. You know what? I think this is a good matchup there. Moving on to the prelims, I matched up Kevin Holland, who's coming off of the decision victory over Darren Stewart. I matched him against Omari Akhmedov, who's coming off of the decision loss to Chris Weidman. Of course, Kevin Holland also holds that victory over Joaquin Buckley, which is looking pretty good nowadays with Joaquin Buckley, doing what he did last Saturday. What do you want to say? Kevin Holland, I believe, has been deserving a step up, a ranked opponent for a little while now. So I went ahead and gave it to him. I'm punishing Omari Akhmedov by, he lost to Chris Weidman, so now you got to get punished and got to fight somebody outside the rankings. You got to prove that you're worthy of that ranking. So like I said, I went ahead and matched him up with Kevin Holland. That should be a good middleweight scrap. Then moving on up, we got Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Pavlovich. Of course, Tybora's coming off of the decision over Ben Rothwell. It was actually a pretty decent fight, Marcin Tybura does what he does. He kind of, cruise his way to a decision. He has a ranking next to his name now. He's number 15 in the heavyweight division, and then Sergey Pavlovich is number 12 or 13, I want to say. In the post-fight interview, Marcin Tybur said he wanted a step up in an opponent. He said he wanted an opponent inside the top 10. So, I'm not going to give you the opponent in the top 10. I don't think you've earned it yet. However, I'm going to give you a ranked opponent in Sergey Pavlovich. That's a good heavyweight scrap there on the prelim card. And then moving on up, we have Edson Barbosa. I went ahead and matched him up against Shane Burgos. Of course, Edson Barbosa is coming off of the pretty dominant win over Makwan Amirkhani. Makwan, of course, stepped in on short notice and got dominated from pillar to post. I went ahead and matched him up against Shane Burgos. Like I said, Shane Burgos is coming off of the Fight of the Year contender loss to Josh Emmett. Shane Burgos, every time he steps into the octagon, he just puts on a cracker of a fight. Versus Calvin Kattar, that was a good fight. But he beat the shit out of Makwan Amirkhani. Him and Edson Barbosa both did. So that's a common opponent they had. They both looked pretty good against him. Shane Burgos actually stopped him. But yeah, I believe Edson Barbosa's had a couple of unfortunate decisions. He lost to Danny Ige. I really think he won. But he should be higher ranked than he really is. So we're gonna go ahead and give him a chance to redeem himself and give him a higher ranked opponent in Shane Burgos. This should be another cracker fight. Of course, there's another fight at featherweight. I've got, 3 of them so far. Then moving on up to the featured prelim, the headliner of the prelims, we have GDR versus Holly Holm 2. This is a fight that needs to be booked next. I believe it's the only fight that makes sense for both of them at bantamweight. Of course, GDR is coming off of the submission victory, and then Holmes coming off of the unanimous decision, the dominant decision. Let me say that over Irene Aldana. She really made a good of account of herself in that fight. And of course, GDR, she's always, people are always saying she has issues with the ground game, but she might have, she showed a little something, by putting that girl to sleep in her last time out. This fight, they fought in the past before. Of course, it was a boring fight. Hopefully, it won't be that way again. I'm hoping this card is nothing but bangers. But yeah, this is the only fight that, like I said, it's the only fight that makes sense at women's bantamweight. This is a title eliminator. Winner of this fight is getting the next title shot at Amanda Nunes. If GDR wins, hopefully she improved on her takedown defense and her ground game, because she was giving Amanda Nunes trouble on the feet. And then if Holm wins, hopefully she doesn't just completely stop what she's doing and stand still and get head kicked again if she was to go up against Amanda Nunes again. But moving on to the main card, we have Alexander Rakic versus Jiri Prochazka. This is a fight that I believe Jerry's been calling for a little while. It's a fight that I'd love to see. I believe it'd be a banger fight. Prochazka, came into the UFC with a bang, knocked Volkan Ozdemir out cold, and then Rakic, of course, is coming off of that decision victory over Anthony Smith. He looked pretty good. He showed some good wrestling. He kind of laid on Anthony Smith the whole time, but that's neither here nor there. Prochazka isn't going to let you do that. This will be a pretty good stand-up war between two light heavyweight contenders, two young light heavyweight contenders at that. I believe the winner of this fight should probably be getting the next title shot. I know Jan Blachowicz is your new light heavyweight champ, and then we got Santos versus Teixeira coming up next. Winner of that fight's probably going to be getting the next title shot. But then after either the Teixeira or Santos gets their shot, I believe the winner of this fight should be getting the shot after that. Then moving on up, I went ahead and booked a rematch for Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Alistair Overeem. Of course, both of them are coming off victories. Overeem has lost to Jairzinho in the past. He was beating him the whole fight and then got knocked out right at the end. I mean, what do you want to say? Rozenstruik is coming off of course, he got sent to hell by Francis Ngannou, and then he redeemed himself and sent JDS to hell. And then Overeem, of course, is coming off of the what was it, 5th or 4th round TKO of Jairzinho Rozenstruik over Augusto Sakai. He made, he showed a pretty good account of himself in that fight. He hung in there, let Augusto Sakai tire himself out, punch himself out, and then took him down to the ground and just hit him with some vicious ground and pound. I believe Alistair Overeem, after the fight, said he wanted to rematch Rozenstruik. Of course, Overeem has said this is his last title run. This fight right here, I believe, would put him either one away or would set him up for the title shot next. Then moving on up, we have Yair Rodriguez or Max Holloway, whoever wants to take it versus Calvin Kattar. I believe Calvin Kattar has been deserving a step up in competition for a while. He beat Dan Ige. He knocked out Jeremy Stephens with that beautiful elbow. And, like I said, he just needs to step up. He took the Dan Ige fight, even though Dan Ige was ranked pretty significantly below him. He's the number 6 in the featherweight rankings now. Holloway's number 1, of course, and then Yair's number 4 or 5, I want to say. But yeah, Kattar's been deserving a step up, and Holloway just lost two fights in a row to the champ Volkanovski. I don't really think they're going to book the third one in a row. So, let's keep it moving. Go ahead and get in there versus Kattar. If you beat Kattar, I believe he might be able to get right back in there for another title shot. And then if Yair was to take the fight versus Kattar, winner of this fight, I believe would be getting the title shot. Of course, the next title shot is going to be the winner of the Ortega versus Zombie fight coming up this weekend. But once again, the winner of this fight should be getting the title shot after that. And then moving on up to, we got in the co-main, we got Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Michael Chandler. Of course, Michael Chandler is the alternate for the Khabib versus Gaethje fight coming up. I don't believe either of them will pull out. Hopefully not. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I know Khabib has a history of pulling out of fights. But yeah, if all goes as planned and neither of them pull out, let's go ahead and get Chandler in there in January. Let's get him in his UFC debut versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. Dan the Hangman Hooker's card is coming off of that decision loss to Poirier back in June, and another fight of the year contender. So I'm putting these fighters that are coming out of these fight of the year contenders, right on this card. So this card should be a cracker. Last McGregor event, the UFC kind of shit the bed and put a lot of shitty fights on there. It's still sold like 1.4 million. I believe this card has the potential to sell about probably 2 million. If all these matchups were to happen. But yeah, of course, Chandler making his UFC debut versus Hooker. Hooker's a real big guy. Hooker definitely has the size advantage in this fight. Hooker's, about damn near 6 feet, if not 6 feet. And then Chandler, I believe, is like 5'6", 5'7". But yeah, let's go ahead and match these two up. Let's see what you're made of, Chandler. Hooker's a tough guy. He's got a great chin, great striking, real good feints. He's coming out of the city kickboxing down there in Australia. Those guys are nothing but great strikers. So let's go ahead and match you two up and see what Chandler's made of. If Chandler wins this fight, he, maybe one more, maybe slides right into a title shot. And then if Hooker wins, I believe he is one away from a title shot as well. And then moving on up in the main event, of course, we got McGregor versus Poirier 2. Oh my God. I'm drooling over this fight. I'm so glad that McGregor tweeted out he accepted. Dana White being the fucking cunt he is, said, oh no, it's not happening. It's not happening in 2020. We got the date for him. Take it or leave it, McGregor. And McGregor being the fucking goat he is, accepted. And man, I'm so excited for this fight, man. The world the UFC and the world is just better when McGregor's, in action. He was supposed to have his season in 2020. It didn't end up happening. So you know what? Let's do it in 2021. Let's get it started with Poirier. And then I believe after he fights Poirier, he might be able to slide in for a title shot, Assuming, Khabib beats Gaethje, this could be his next opponent. Of course, Khabib has said he doesn't want to fight McGregor again, but look, I think McGregor would deserve it. He beat Donald Cerrone, albeit at welterweight, but I'm hoping this fight would be at lightweight. If he beats Poirier, you can't. It's kind of hard to argue that he wouldn't be deserving of the title shot. But yeah, let me know down below what fights you'd like to see. Let me know if you agree with the card I put together. Give me a rating 1 through 10 of what you think this card would be. Leave a like if you liked all the matchups I put together. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.